Monday. Red Polly. Dusty. Blue Poncho. Tupac. Street.
Welcome back to another episode of the Frisky, Risky Betting and Fantasy Podcast with your host, the man with the bets, Willie P, in the house with us, and then, of course, myself, Tyler Z. It is December 11th, Wednesday morning, and we got some good picks for you. We got some good information about some injuries that may affect your playoffs here in fantasy, as well as we're going to talk about a couple breakout players from last week who maybe you can pick up if no one has yet. And then, of course, the pick'em, the weekly pick'em, where Willie P and I go head to head, and we take who we think is going to win in this week's schedule. So before we get to that, though, we start you off, as always, with some money line and spread picks. Will is the man with the picks. Will, give us what you got, buddy.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's been just to say the least, it's been a bad stretch for me in the pick'em. If people have been listening the past couple of weeks, didn't go much better this past weekend. It always goes down to the tiebreaker, and we make some stupid tiebreaker. And Tyler texted me at
5 weeks
and was like, I just need, on Sunday night, he's like, I need Joe Burrow to have 205 passing. And I was like, well, it's over, because he's going to do that. So he can do that with his eyes closed. But other than that, just I haven't given anybody an update through this year. For the money line and spread bets this year, I'm hitting at 62%, which is good to know. I finally did the math.
Buddy.
So, we'll take that any day of the week if people are curious on how we actually do here in this podcast. So there you go. That being said, I'm going a little risky on the first pick of the day, but give me the Rams on the money line at San Francisco this week. I believe that's that is the Thursday night game. So we're getting their skin in the game early this week. I love the Rams at plus 124 here, Tyler, because LA, although they're 7-6 straight up and by record 6-7 against the spread all year, in their last 8 games, they're 6-2 against the spread. The reason why I didn't
Trend alert, brother. Trend
alert. The reason why I didn't take the spread is because it's like 2. I think it was +2 when I saw it yesterday. We're gonna be a man. We're gonna get some real skin in the game. We're taking them on the money line. The way the Rams have been playing as of late, I like what they've been doing. San Francisco, on the other hand, they did end a 3-game slide against the spread and straight up this past week against the Bears, but it wasn't very pretty. Brock Purdy, obviously being back, looks better for that offense. Deebo Samuel is still a bum and is really wrecking my playoff run dreams right now because I've been counting on him all year, and now he's just not doing much. So hopefully Deebo Samuel will do something this week. But kind of going off vibes and kind of going off the trends as we always do with the Rams here. I think LA is going to come into San Francisco on Thursday night and give them a run for their money and beat them straight up.
I like it, man. As our boy J-Rock on the other Predictors podcast says, elite vibes, my man. Elite vibes. This is going to ruin a little bit of our pick'em here, but I also chose LA to beat San Francisco in the pick'em. So I love that. I think for all the same reasons you said, not to beat a dead horse here, but the Rams are playing great ball right now. San Francisco is on the other end of that, unfortunately for them. A lot of injuries. We're going to talk about one more that they suffered last week. So, dude, Rams, bring it home, baby.
Just not the Niners year, unfortunately. But I just love how everybody's calling for Shanahan's head when it's like their roster can't stay healthy. It's not Shanahan. That being said, we got another. I never thought I would be saying this all season, but when you play the Dallas Cowboys, your chances of winning go up, and that's why I'm taking the Carolina Panthers on the spread at -2.5 in Charlotte. If it was in Dallas, probably wouldn't be taking this pick. But obviously, if you watched last week, Panthers were, I think, 14 or 15-point dogs against the streaking Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. They were beating them for a lot of that game, and only
they should have won.
They only lost 22-16, so they covered. The Panthers, although they're 3-10 this year and 6-7 against the spread, I like the way Bryce Young is playing right now. The Cowboys are freaking terrible. They're 5-8 straight up and against the spread. And just looking at the Cowboys stats, their total defense 25 out of 32. They can't stop the run. Guess who's in the backfield for the Carolina Panthers? Chuba Hubbard. He's been an absolute maniac this year for the Panthers. And I like the way that the Panthers have been playing, and I don't like the way the Cowboys have been playing. So give me the Panthers for a little, not shock upset, but I'd like the Panthers to win a close one here at home and route their ship a little bit for the season against a terrible, just terrible Dallas Cowboys team. Super rush.
Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna take Dallas this week.
Okay.
I like your pick because I think this game could go either way. I think it all is going to come down to whether Micah Parsons is mad enough last week to do something about it after walking off the field early, or if his not so elite vibes ruin that team even more, if that's even possible. Carolina is actually the favorite in this game. They're 2.5-point favorite because obviously, like you said, it's at home in Carolina. So I'm going to take Dallas to get a little redemption. Their defense is going to have to step up. Their offense actually played pretty well last week, or not bad. But their defense, like you said, just looks horrendous, and that starts with Micah Parsons, number 11 there. So if he can get that squad together, of course, they are also a very injury-prone team this year. And then this past weekend, they lost DeMarvion Overshown, who for that defense is the second leading tackler. So as I sit here and talk myself out of my Dallas pick, but I'm going to stick with him because I already chose him, so I'm going to go with it. But yeah, he had a terrible injury, suffering a tear of 3 ligaments out of the 4 in his knee. So, and that's after sitting out his whole rookie year for an ACL tear in his left knee. So he's got tough, but I like where your head is at. We will see what happens.
There's something about the Panthers right now. Bryce Young's got some
Panthers
swagger.
are looking good, man.
They look
good.
I mean, they're losing, but like the way they're losing, I'm like, you guys look much better, which is crazy to say. But I think
after everyone crapped all over Bryce Young for how long, he has come back to be like, I figured it out. I'm in a better headspace. We're going to get this done.
I think him and Canales have figured it out. Yeah, it's good to see. But yeah, something's going to give. And of course, then they're going to be pissed because it's going to like knock them out of like a top 3 playoff spot, even though, or draft pick. But I think also they've traded away a lot of their first rounds for the future once they, or I'm thinking of the Bears when they traded away DJ Moore. Never mind. Anyway, my final pick. This game is going to be. There's a lot of good, sneaky good games this week on the slate, but this one I'm also going to call a little risky, just because I don't know how this game could go, and I don't know why. We're going to come back next week, and you're going to ask me why I called this game risky, but it's because they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and I don't know if Russell Wilson and the offense can match Philly in Philly. But I love the Steelers at plus 5.5 going on the road to Philly. It's minus 115. The big thing with this, the Steelers are 10-3 straight up and against the spread this year, but they are 7-1 straight up and against the spread with Russell Wilson as their starter this year. Philly, meanwhile, is 11-2 straight up, 8-5 against the spread. As we talked about last week with the Panthers, they were a 14-point favorite and could not cover that against a pretty lackluster, albeit looking better, Carolina Panthers team. I think Philly's very good. I think they're a juggernaut in the NFL. But I also think Russell Wilson and that Steelers defense is a very, very tough team to beat. And I think 5.5 is too many points for this Eagles team to cover against a solid Steelers defense. So I'm going to come down to Russell Wilson as it has all year. But as I just told you, he's 7-1 straight up and against the spread this year. So give me the Steelers plus the points.
Yeah, man, I would definitely put it in the riskier category, but by no means is it not doable. I mean, Pittsburgh could come out of this game with a win, at the end of the day. I do think when you look at, I know you're a big trends guy. I am a big, player, looking at individual players. And with A.J. Brown calling out the passing game last week, I have a feeling that that's going to be firing off a little bit more this week. And so when you pair that with if Saquon continues to do his thing, then that's a very hard combination to beat if they get those two things moving at the same pace. But again, that's an if, right? So we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh is most likely going to be without George Pickens, so that's tough. Again, second game in a row. Their wide receivers are Calvin Austin the third, I think, Van Jefferson, and Mike Williams, your boy. So
Has he
that's
done
who they
anything yet? I
that's
don't
who
think
they
he's
have
done
to throw to.
Still hasn't done anything all year. Like, God damn it.
So that's who they have to throw to. So, George Pickens, despite him moving the offensive back, 15-yard increments every time he gets a freaking penalty, he is their guy. So without him, it might be tough. But I think this game go either way. You never know with Mike Tomlin. You never know with Russell Wilson. So it's a risky one, but definitely one that could happen.
It's gonna be tight, and it's gonna all come down to Russell Wilson matching Jalen Hurts, which I think he can do. But my big thing that I was looking at as well is the Steelers have the fourth best rush defense in the league, while the Eagles have the first. Sorry, I was looking at something else, and I thought it said 11 out of 32. I was like, there's no way the Eagles have the 11th best rushing offense in the NFL with Saquon Barkley. That's heinous. So we'll see. Yeah, it's going to come down to the trenches. I also am a Saquon Barkley fantasy owner, and I can't remember the stat now off the top of my head, of course, when I'm bringing it up, but something of like Saquon Barkley has been tackled on the 1 yard line the most this year out of any running back in the NFL. And like it's
11
like
times.
Yeah. And then Jalen Hurts, and like every time they do that, like they use Jalen Hurts in the tush push, and I'm like, God. Like,
and he's still crushing. Imagine if they were using him.
It's so annoying. It's just like, God damn it, dude. It's ridiculous. Like we talked about earlier in the year how you love that in fantasy, or if you're like betting, like some dude to score a touchdown, except for Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is just an absolute vulture. And it's like, dude, come on. So Saquon might have the MVP.
Which we knew was going to happen a little bit. I thought it would happen a little bit less, just because of Jalen Hurts' injuries last year, not doing that, and Jason Kelce not being there anymore. But we also said that Saquon would still be a useful running back, very useful. And after everyone told us to drop him because he was going to be just vultured the whole time and not do well, he's over here just killing it. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's like the league I care the most about. I got Saquon because I was the 12th pick, and then I got Puka, and then I got Alvin Kamara. And I was really worried about Alvin and Puka. Just, for some reason, just didn't have a good feeling. And Kamara's been a top 5 running back all year, and Puka Nacua, I think, is the best wide receiver since coming back from injury this year. It's awesome. And I'm like, all right, I hope I get bad gut feelings.
Playoff time.
Yeah, I love it because it helps me out. But that being said, you already spoke on it a little bit, Tyler. This is killing me in another league because I've skated into the playoffs, but I need George Pickens, and he is most likely not going to play for the second straight week with that hamstring, and that's killing me, Tyler. It's just
that's a tough one, man. That hamstring was supposed to be kind of. They thought he was going to play week 14.
Yeah.
He went out there in pregame warmups, decided he couldn't play. Then they got an MRI, and they saw that hamstring strain was worse than they thought, and so now. Looked like Mike Tomlin put him as doubtful at best to play week 15. So that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, just like Dalton Kincaid too. But he's missed 3 straight with that knee injury. Is he going to play this week, Tyler? What's going on with that? He hasn't played since week 10.
I think he'll play this week. They were going to play him last week and ended up keeping him back just to kind of give him that extra time. He's been out since, I think, November 10th. So we're about a month out, which means, they were calling it a PCL bursa. So PCL, posterior cruciate ligament, the ligament in the back of your knee, plus the bursa back there. So if it's a PCL, it's definitely a minor PCL. As we saw with Christian McCaffrey, his PCL is going to keep him out 6 weeks plus. So with Dalton Kincaid being out about 4, it's definitely a little bit on the minor side. So if he is back, which I think he will be, he should be good to go. I don't see any residual type of injury happening. Another player we got to watch, though, is your boy, Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
He has been crushing it. He has been, people have been riding his production straight into the playoffs over the past few weeks. And now he already had a hip injury, went out in the first half last week. had to leave the game, was trying to loosen up his back, could not return. And now, as the Bucs eye their fourth consecutive NFC South division title, he may not play if they can't loosen up his back this week. So we will see what happens. Definitely watch the practice reports for that one.
Yeah, I need him to play this week. Need it in another way. It's a standard scoring league, and him getting in the end zone is just like the most beautiful thing ever. And now I'm like scrambling to figure out a flex. Like I have good enough running backs where he's been my flex, but now I'm like, dude, Thankfully, I have Chuba Hubbard, and I'm counting on Chuba to have the big week. But yeah,
well,
I saw that.
I would say if you need someone, you could pick up Isaac Guerrero if he's still there, but he's also injured. So
and he had a great game last week. 15 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like everybody was like, what?
Yeah.
It is wild how good that backfield can be with a no-name running back for San Francisco. That's about the only thing they've had going for them this year. It's incredible.
Yeah, they just keep losing running backs, but the next one just keeps stepping up.
For like 3 games, and then they just bring in the next guy. It's ridiculous, dude. But
it is insane. I have Guerrero on my team. I was super pumped last week because he went off. But the problem is he has a foot sprain, which obviously push off for a running back, cutting for a running back that is tough. And they play on Thursday this week, as you said, Willie P. So not a lot of time to get ready for that. So we will see what happens with him if he is able to go. This is likely going to be a game time decision. However, this is a divisional rival game. They are against the Rams. They are a bubble team. So they are going to do everything they can, I am sure, to get those guys on the field. And may even be a little bit risky with it if they have to be to win this game. But we will see. But that's a tough one. That's a tough.
What's their record now? Are they 6-8? What's their?
Oh, I think they are. Yes, either I think 6-8.
They're 6-7.
Or 6-7. Okay.
6. Yeah,
They're both bubble teams. I think if everything ended today, the Rams might be in. I can't remember if that's correct, 100%. But they're right on the bubble for sure.
Because who's still leading that division? Seattle.
Yes. But Seattle plays Green Bay this week, and NFL puts Seattle at a 65% chance of making the playoffs right now. They hold their fate in their own hands, but they got some, Green Bay this week. They got some harder games coming up, so we'll have to see what Seattle can do. But with that, let's talk about a couple breakout players, a couple guys who you could throw in the old lineup if you can grab them, if you are dealing with some injuries. Who you got for me, Willie P?
Well, just a quick recap from last week. The Nick Westbrook-Akine absolute heater touchdown scoring train has finally come into station.
Boo.
I think it was 8 out of 9 games he scored a touchdown. You all knew it was coming to an end. That's why I told you last week, just throw a little half unit on it, just to see if it could keep going. It finally came to an end. But that dude will live in anytime touchdown scorer Hall of Fame. That dude was incredible. Last week, he only had 1 catch for 19 yards. Classic, He needed just 2 more. One of them would have been a touchdown, I swear to God.
Just one more target. That's all he needed.
Dude. And the other one, which I think many people still don't want to talk about because he was such a freaking letdown, was Jaden Reed. Everybody was counting on him after the big week he had against the Dolphins on, to wrap up Thursday night on Thanksgiving, where he had 2 touchdowns. He had 0 catches for 0 yards, 0 fantasy points. I really hope you didn't start him in a league. I thankfully did not because I don't have him. But obviously,
no, but he said wait till we go back to Detroit though on a podcast. He said wait.
What a bum! What a bum! The Packers, I love the Packers this year, but they do shit like that. And I'm like, what's your deal? You guys are weird. But and then the last one obviously was Guerrero. He did great, as I said, 15 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. But we'll see if he plays this week. This one isn't. I feel kind of bad.
I'm excited.
This is a
I'm excited. Before you start, I gotta let the listeners know we don't talk about these. So we don't talk about these. And so we could have the same ones, or we could have completely different guys who we are kind of eyeing as these breakout players right now. So with that, go ahead, Willie P. Back to you.
Sorry. No, you're fine. This one I feel kind of weird calling a breakout because he's just been really good this year, and he kind of had a weird middle of the season. But that's Bengals running back Chase Brown. The dude is on a 5-game heater of 19 plus or more fantasy points. Dude's obviously he played on Monday night. He had a great touchdown. It turned into Lisa Simpson. If you did watch the Simpsons alternate broadcast, and Lisa Simpson has some wheels, really it was Chase Brown. But either way, Chase Brown is running back 9 in any PPR league. He should probably be in top 10 running back in any league format that you use for scoring. He's been an absolute unit for that Bengals backfield as well as their offense. Honestly, that lethal combo of Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase has been probably winning people leagues this year. If you had all 3 of them, if not 2 out of the 3. Chase Brown is my first impact player of the week. You continue to play that dude in an RB1 spot. He's an absolute menace. I have no problem with what he's been doing. And I think most people have already, but you never know. I had a buddy the other day be like, "Why are you playing Chase Brown?" And I said, "Why do you play fantasy football?" And that's like that. So give me Chase Brown as my first impact player of the week.
Chase Brown, I like it. I am also going to start with a running back, Will. Now, my first impact player comes with a caveat, if you will. And that caveat is Kenneth Walker being injured. Because with Kenneth Walker injured, Zach Charbonnet has been a beast.
He's been a monster.
This week he went 134 yards, 2 tubs, 59 reception yards on 7 receptions. Receiving yards on 7 receptions. And he's killing it. And I think he's someone that you can look to if Kenneth Walker is still out this week and you need to pick up a running back. He's someone that you may be able to grab. So definitely look out. Go to your waivers. Go to see if he's still available, because I'm not sure Kenneth Walker will play this week. They may give him one more week of rest. With that said, as we just talked about, Seattle isn't in the playoffs yet, so they need everyone they can. So if they can get Kenneth Walker on the field, they will. But I'm not sure his injury will let him quite yet. So follow that story and double check on Zach Charbonnet, because if you can get him, it could be a big pickup.
If anybody listening has Mike McDonald's phone number, you can call him and tell him to play Kenneth Walker this week. I'd give you a lot of money. And by that, I mean like $20 and like a sandwich, because I've had one of the best years I've had in a long time in this league that I care about the most. It's with the kids I grew up with, and it's just an absolute shark league. Like, you got to grind to do well in this league, and I've had a great year. I'm the 3 seed, and the kid I'm playing has Charbonnet. And it could very well be the difference maker of who wins this week in the first round. So if Kenneth Walker could only answer my prayer,
if he's listening,
just come back, take the majority of the workload, get in the end zone, make Charbonnet irrelevant again. Because when you're there, he's useless. But when you're not there, he's a stud. So please, Kenneth Walker, come back just this week, please.
Come back.
Just come back.
I like it. I like it.
Hey,
I would also like Kenneth Walker in there, because in my paid league he is on my squad, so he's on my bench right now. But I'd like to move him. I'd like to move him to active roster. Yeah,
last year Charbonnet obviously kind of took a little bit to get going, and I was kind of wondering what he was going to be like. But he's a stud. He's a solid RB2 for that team, and I'm curious to see if they're going to ever use that in like a little 1-2 combo like Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit. But that being said, my other impact player this week, give me Tony Pollard of the Tennessee Titans. These last couple of weeks, he's been playing very well. They play Cincy this week. Cincy does not have the best run defense. He's also kind of been the engine besides my boy Nick Westbrook-Akine, who's now cold. So that's why we're going with Tony Pollard. He had 21 carries for 102 yards last week, 14.4 fantasy points. He has definitely been a pretty big engine for this pretty bad Titans offense. The Titans are normally not in games, so they like to throw the ball more. But when he has gotten his opportunities, Tony Pollard has made an impact. Give me Tony Pollard. Probably not the rest of the year, but just give me him this week against the Bengals. I have a good feeling.
A little extra dip in that is Will Levis is dealing with an AC joint sprain on his throwing arm.
So
if if he can't throw the ball as well, or if he doesn't play, then Tony Pollard may get a couple extra carries. Just give it to someone reliable that they can count on. So
The last 3 weeks, Tony Pollard has looked like the Tony Pollard we knew on the Cowboys. 2 years ago. Yeah, and that's I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna take the eye test and I'm gonna run with it at least for this week. I feel good about Tony Pollard having another at least 12 plus fantasy point week, and in a week that most people will need that, given that it's the first round of the playoffs.
Playoffs.
What playoff?
My last breakout player is Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison.
I knew you were going to do this.
Jordan.
One good week.
Oh, see, I knew you were going to say that. So, Jordan Addison had 133 yards, 3 touchdowns on 8 receptions this week. We know he's not going to have 3 touchdowns every week.
No.
However, Willie P just told me that he had one good week. However, Willie P, this is his 4th straight game with over 50 receiving yards, and he has had 5 touchdowns over that time.
Shite.
So
I know what one of my player props is going to be this week. There you go. I already got 4, but I'll give you another one.
Jordan Addison, 4th straight game over 50 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns over that time. He has been quietly creeping up. I think we don't notice it because he gets overshadowed a little bit by their big man there, Justin Jefferson, the big paid man, who will definitely not be the highest paid wide receiver next year. And with Sam Darnold being their quarterback, because Sam Darnold is so inconsistent that you just don't watch close enough sometimes on the wide receivers. But yeah, Jordan Addison has been playing very well, and I think that he can continue to do that. This week, Minnesota, who are they playing this week, Willie P? They play, why did I forget who they play here? Oh, they play the Bears on Monday. So that is a game you'll want to watch.
Oh, yeah,
and,
one of the double headers for Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And
Minnesota is the favorite.
And they're both dog shit games. What a treat. Like, God, if there's any time to have a Simpsons broadcast, it's on the double header of the Monday night game. But
yeah, that would be good to watch.
I don't know why. Well, I know why. Everybody thought the Bears were going to be much better than they are because they saw Keenan Allen.
I didn't think they'd be much better than they were.
I didn't think so either. But everybody was like, "No rookie QB has ever walked into this type of offense." It's like, what? Keenan Allen had 2 touchdowns on Thanksgiving. Good for you. That's about all he's done this year. Like, dude needs to hang it up. Like, it's just like, come on. It's still the Chicago Bears. Like, give me a break. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Giants will be good next year if Shedeur Sanders goes there." It's like, nope. They're going to ruin his career in 2 years. Like, they're just, come on. Anyway, that being said.
Anyways, Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. Ride it.
I like it. Well, it's time. It's time.
God,
We got the week 15 pick'em. You were on a 5-week slide, my man. 5-week slide. We got 18 games this season. We are in week 15. I think you were up 1 on me when you started this 5-game slide, which means if you can win the next 4 weeks, we tie in the pick'em.
Then we have to do like a freaking donut eating contest.
Well, the regular season. The regular season. We can go into the playoffs.
Okay.
But
or
the
we
regular
have one
season.
of our peculiar tiebreakers like we always do.
Yes, well, we'll have one of those, of course. But all right, let's start down the old slate here. Starting with the Rams and San Francisco. I think both of us already know based on your money line pick. We're going with the Rams. I also chose the Rams. San Francisco is just very banged up, and I think the Rams are playing their best ball right now. To be honest. So, Kansas City, Cleveland Browns. I went with Kansas City, but let me tell you how close I was to going with the Cleveland Browns.
Don't you dare. No. No.
I was pretty close because Cleveland, again, is one of those teams that you just don't know how they're going to show up. Like Jameis Winston could just have the game of his life. And Kansas City has been winning barely on like a walk-off field goal. I don't know how many times this year. So I almost went with the Browns, but I did lock in Kansas City. I went with a safe pick on this one. I kind of feel bad about myself, but I went with a safe pick and went Kansas City.
Well, yeah, you always go with the safe pick. That's why you're on a 5-game
Oh,
here against me.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, no, whatever. Whatever. Safe pick. I almost picked the Browns. Don't get out of here. Jameis Winston is like that brand new Chevy Impala you got. It looks clean, smells good, fuel efficient, and then you drive it around some hot chicks and realize that you're trying to spit some game, and they're like, you drive a Chevy Impala. And then he comes back to earth and throws 6 interceptions on a Monday Night Football game, even though he had 500 passing yards. That's Jameis Winston. All right? That's why I'm going with the game. I don't want to go for the Chiefs. I don't. But it's the easiest money in football. And I'm telling you right now, Tyler, when the Chiefs make the Super Bowl this year, not if, when, and they're underdogs again, I'm putting my rent on the Chiefs if they're plus money. And they will continue to print as they always do. I hate it, but it's just death taxes and the Chiefs underdogs winning in the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
You putting your money on it will make sure that they lose.
No, I've done it the past 2 years, and they hit, and everybody's like, "I can't believe you took the Chiefs." I'm like, "I can't believe you did it." Like, come on, people! It's Patrick.
Yeah.
Mahomes. The NFL loves stroking that dude under the table. It's crazy. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway.
Well, we'll see what happens, dude. If we come back here next week and Jameis Winston throws for 5 touchdowns and Kansas City just gets blown out, you're gonna hear about it.
Spagnuolo won't. Spags won't let that happen. And I'm not even a Chiefs fan. It's just what it is. I hate it.
We got Cincinnati versus Tennessee. I think you got to go Cincinnati on this one. They're playing very well despite the losses.
Is it
What's
Mason
that?
Rudolph? Is Mason Rudolph the starter?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Will Levis' shoulder. They might shut him down for the rest of the season.
They should.
So I think it would be Rudolph if that was the case.
Yeah,
Washington Saints. We'll take Washington on that one. Especially Derek Carr has a fractured hand. So who knows what's going to happen with the Saints now. You got Baltimore, New York. Baltimore.
Biggest spread of the week, 14.5. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I need Derrick Henry to go off too, by the way. I'm going to need him to crush this week. Dallas, Carolina. We just talked about this. You took Carolina. One might say as the favorite, the safe pick. Well, myself took Dallas.
Whatever, dude.
Took Dallas, the underdog, if you will, the injured underdog, the beaten puppy. But we will see what happens there. The Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This game is just going to be so bad. And I can't believe this is what I was talking about earlier. I picked the Jags, and I don't know why I picked the Jags. Well,
I picked the Jets. I picked the Jets.
Okay. I was like, I do know why, because I hate Aaron Rodgers, and I used to love Aaron Rodgers, but he has just soured my mouth of his career, and it is so annoying. Like,
he's bad, man. It's he should get off the Pat McAfee show. He should just go hide in his cave.
Like, come on.
It's brutal. Houston, Miami. I went Houston.
I did too, but this game is going to be good, and it's going to be interesting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami won by a touchdown. I really wouldn't be.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close game, I think.
Houston's weird.
It's kind of a pick-em.
I did not have, and I should have at least considered it more, I did not have C.J. Stroud having a big sophomore slump on my bingo card, but it's very, it always happens with one of them. Like, watch. Either it's going to be my boy Bo Nix next year, or Jaden Daniels, or maybe both are going to have a sophomore slump and they're going to come back to earth. And, and I'm really bummed that it was C.J. Stroud this year because I had him in a keeper league. I had him in 3 leagues this year, and he, I don't play him.
That's not helping you.
No. He's averaging like 18 points a game, and I'm like, dude, I need you to get like 22 or more. Like, and he just can't do it. It's a bummer. But obviously they've had some injuries, but.
Well, it'll definitely be your boy Bo Nix next year.
All right.
Speaking of, we head to Denver for the Denver-Indianapolis game. I did go with Denver for this game.
all day.
Indianapolis, they are missing and probably still will be missing Josh Downs, I think. I'm not sure he will make it back for this game from his injury. It's possible. He's questionable right now. We'll have to watch his practice. But you got to go Denver the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I thought. The next game, though, is real nice. Both teams already clinched their playoff spot.
Oh, is it Bills Detroit?
It is Bills Detroit.
This one.
Do you want me to go? Do you want to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Who'd you take?
I'm taking the Buffalo Bills.
Fuck. Damn it.
And the reason is who you took? Yeah. The reason I'm taking the Buffalo Bills is because if you look at our banged up scores, Detroit is dead last. 32 of 32. They are so banged up, and that's okay when you play a team who's not the Buffalo Bills. But the Buffalo Bills have some firepower, and so they're going to have to. And I know Dan Campbell already came out and said we're going to rely on our offense more because of how hurt we are. But trying to keep up with Josh Allen the way he's playing right now is not an easy task, even if you are Jared Goff. So I got to go with Buffalo on that for those reasons.
Yeah, I took Buffalo as well for the injuries. 6 touchdowns or whatever he had. Six touchdowns.
3 throwing, 3 running.
Dude's a maniac. Like that offense, is literally only good because of him. Like you look at their
highest points for a quarterback in fantasy ever.
What do you have, 50 something?
51.88. Ever.
That dude should be the MVP. Everybody's talking about Saquon. Everybody's talking about this, that, the other. He should be the MVP. I mean, if the Buffalo Bills get a top 2 seed in the AFC, and he's the only reason why that offense is good. But, I mean, James Cook is pretty solid, but look at the receiving core. You have Amari Cooper. Dude, it is remarkable what
he'll get screwed. He'll get screwed for sure. No way they give it to him over Saquon
because Patrick Mahomes will beat him again. And he'll beat him in Orchard Park, and everybody will be like, "What is going on?" But yeah, I took the Bills as well. Detroit's a juggernaut, but something's got to give with Detroit here soon, and I think it's going to be this defense not having any horses to run. It's we'll see, and that's why it's 2.5. And look at last week. What did I say? Packers +3.
Oh yeah, dude, they covered.
I mean, come on. So.
Dude, they are.
I hate to see it because I want to see Detroit win the Super Bowl, but the banged up score doesn't lie. Who do you want to win the Super Bowl?
I like to see the Ravens. I want Lamar Jackson to get it, so everyone can shut up about how Lamar Jackson can't do it. Oh,
he can't. He's not clutch. I love Lamar, but Ravens fans are so far down his. Dude, it's crazy. They're just not realistic. He needs a weapon as well. It's crazy. Just get one weapon for that guy. He's solid. Mark Andrews.
They gave him some weapons, dude. They gave him Derrick Henry behind him. He has Mark Andrews, and they went and got Deontay Johnson. If he wasn't just screwing the whole team over randomly,
doesn't want to play football anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They tried to go get him weapons, and they just picked the one guy who's going off the deep end right now.
I did think Deontay Johnson to the Ravens mid-season. I was like, that could be a league winner. Mainly because I had him, and I was like, dude, come on. And
mainly because he was on my team, and I really wanted it to happen.
In 3 weeks, he had 5 catches, and I was like, you're getting dropped. I can't.
Oh, yeah. It was terrible. He's ruining whatever's going on over there.
It's crazy. But.
Well, we moved to Philly-Pittsburgh, which we already talked about. Taking Philly.
I think the Steelers.
You took the Steelers.
I did, yes. I'm sticking with my gut.
All right, not in Philly. No way.
3 differences this week. This will be fun.
No way Steelers go into Philly and take that game.
They're going in there.
No way they go in and take it straight up.
I can't wait to see Italian dads just yelling at Sirianni when they lose by
Arizona Patriots. I took Arizona.
Yeah.
I only took Arizona. I think Drake May and New England could beat Arizona. But I don't think they want to. I think they want to get. I think they're at the point where they're like, make it close.
Make it close, or we're gonna lose.
Make it close. We want to get you a couple weapons, so just do what you need to do.
Offensive linemen, call it a day. A lot of good offensive linemen in this next NFL class. So
Yeah. So I'm going with Arizona. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
A good game next here. Tampa Bay Chargers. I think this is going to be a good game, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think it's close. I'm leaning towards Tampa Bay.
I took the Chargers.
All right. I
All
like
right.
it.
There you
I
go.
am another safe pick for Will.
Yep. I gotta do something here, man. Everything I've done
No, I'm
isn't
just
working.
kidding. The only reason Tampa Bay is not a safe pick is because Bucky Irving may not play, and because Baker Mayfield, when that ball comes out of his hand, you don't know if it's going to be a touchdown or an interception. So, right now, but the Chargers have a fantastic defense. So we will see what happens here. It's gonna be a good game, I think. It's gonna be a good
Which
game.
is weird because at least the past good couple seasons, that was always the Chargers' flaw. It was like they had a good offense, they had Justin Herbert, but their defense couldn't stop a freaking paper cut. And now it's not that they're having a bad offensive year, but it's just weird to me that the Chargers.
It's definitely flipped.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just weird that that's what's going on there. But that's Jim Harbaugh for you. So what can you do?
guys got it. Figure it out. Green Bay, Seattle. Seattle's fighting for their life. Green Bay has a 97% chance of making the playoffs. I'm still going Green Bay,
Me
even
too.
with Seattle fighting for their life.
Yeah.
Could Seattle come out and beat Green Bay? Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
We know what that team is capable of. Just they don't always show up, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Chicago, going Minnesota. Have to.
No brainer.
Can't trust Chicago. And then you got Atlanta, Las Vegas. I'm gonna take Atlanta despite Kirk Cousins just
He's
sucking
due for a
right
bounce
now.
back game, and this is it.
Yeah.
Who's even playing? Is Ritter still playing quarterback for the Raiders?
So, Aiden O'Connell went down. They thought it was going to be season-ending knee injury last week. They did their tests, and it's a bone bruise. So he has a chance to play this week. Probably won't. I think Ritter will play. Just depends, because usually even a bone bruise, that's a lot of swelling, and that's going to be tight and hurt a lot. So I have a feeling that he'll be out, and Ritter will be in. So
Aiden O'Connell is a cockroach. It's crazy. He's not that good. Sure, he's a nice kid, but he just hangs around, and then he'll get that one little weird win every year, and you're like, who is this guy? And that's what keeps him on a roster. It's crazy. That's just funny. He beat the Chiefs last year, and everybody's like, oh, this guy can play. It's he threw the ball less than 10 times that whole game. He didn't beat the Chiefs. They
Chiefs beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that means we got 4 differences, and that means we need a tiebreaker. So, what should our tiebreaker be, Willie P?
I think you picked last week.
Maybe we bring it to the Cleveland Kansas City game.
We could.
Or we could do something Buffalo Detroit, because that should be high scoring. We'll see.
I want to do who's gonna have the better rating, QBR, but I don't know if that's gonna be fair with Josh Allen because he does a lot more.
Yeah, I don't love QBR as a stat in general.
Yeah,
I just don't think it really.
It's a weird stat.
Who's gonna have more carries, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
I'm down. I'll take. Well, who do you want? You can pick.
I don't care. I picked last week, and I picked Joe Burrow to start. So you take whoever, and I'll take the opposite.
The Ravens playing the Giants.
Ravens play the Giants.
I'll take Derrick Henry to have more carries. God.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with yards, just how many times they are handed the ball. I like random ones. That's fun for me.
Yeah, it is a weird little thing to look for.
Okay, well there it is, guys. That's the pick 'em. Another week we will see. This is Will's final week to catch up in the regular season. He's gonna have to win here on out. He's gonna have to go on a 4-game streak, and we know that's possible because I'm on a 5-game streak. Um, but with that, we move to player props. Willie P is going to give us the best player props from this week, his frisky ones, and his riskier ones. Willie P, who you got for player props, bud?
Just starting off with some heat early. Speaking of streaks, my boy's on a 2-game streak with a touchdown. That's Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua.
I'd kiss Puka Nacua on the mouth if I met him, especially if I win my fantasy league.
Okay.
Not actually. That was crazy. But the way he's been playing, figuratively, I would do that because this dude is a dog. I was really upset when he got hurt week 1 and didn't play for 8 weeks, and I really thought he was going to screw me, and he has just come back and been the rose to my bouquet because he is an absolute maniac. Give me Puka Nacua to get in the end zone on Thursday Night Football, plus 120. The way he's been playing, the way Sean McVay loves to scheme for him in that offense, I think I have no problem with Puka Nacua getting in the end zone. My other Thursday Night Football, this game this week is good, and I like the props on it. So 2 of my player props this week are for Thursday Night Football. As you know, we will always have more picks in the newsletter. But give me George Kittle. This line was weird. Give me George Kittle over 4.5 receptions at minus 105. I don't know why this line seems weird to me, at least at the odds. This is hit in 4 out of the last 6 games he's played. And he's obviously been tight end number 1 all year for, obviously, the San Francisco 49ers, but fantasy football in general. The dude's been a maniac, and I think people finally are realizing how good this guy is. Obviously, we've seen flashes of it in the past, but for some reason, 4.5 receptions on Thursday Night Football against a good Rams team where the Niners are desperate for a win seems a little low to me. So give me his over 4.5. I think he's
especially with the injuries that the 49ers have in their running backs, like him and Debo, and the way Debo's been playing. Not so much Debo. That's one of the main guys that Brock Purdy's going to be looking for.
That's like his guy. Yeah, like Kittle has become wide receiver or just option 1 for Brock Purdy this year based on just all their circumstances. And I just saw 4.5, and Vegas doesn't miss a lot, but I was like, this is at minus 105. I was like, 1, let's see if this jumps to plus money, and 2, I think he's gonna have a big night on Thursday night under the lights as he normally does on primetime games. That being said, give me Chuba Hubbard as my next pick, anytime touchdown. I don't have any odds for it yet because they haven't released it, but I'd love Chuba Hubbard to get in the end zone this week against a terrible Cowboys run defense. They rank 30 out of 32 in the NFL. He has 5 TDs in 5 weeks. Chuba Hubbard's been honestly a diamond in the rough this year for fantasy managers. I don't think many people expected him to have the year that he's having, but he has been a steady force for anybody who has him on the roster all year. And I think he'll continue it against, again, a very terrible Cowboys run defense this week.
Did you know that Chuba Hubbard had the most first downs of any running back last season?
I did know that. That. And that's why I drafted him.
Sneaky little stat for him, and something to think about as we move to next year fantasy. See who had the most first downs this season.
Yep.
Because they tend to, if it's not someone who's a massive name like a Saquon Barkley or something, it's someone that's a little bit kind of secretive. It's a nice little late pick you can get that can really
100%.
Really elevate your team.
Yeah, no, Chuba Hubbard's been he's a gem for sure. Last one, it's going to go with my impact players this week. He also has 2 straight weeks with a touchdown, and he's going against a terrible Titans, or not terrible, 13 out of 32 run defense. And the Titans actually, I guess, coming into this week have the second best defense by NFL rank in the NFL in terms of total defense, which is crazy to me. But give me Chase Brown to get in the end zone. I like just what he's been doing, how they've been using him out of the backfield. They like to use him on wheel
Did you just
route.
pull every one of your fantasy players and just
No.
they're going to get a touchdown this week? They're going to get.
You're
just putting it. You're putting it into the atmosphere. So
I guess you could say that, or I'm just jinxing myself, and I'm going to put up like 75 points in the first round and become the laughing stock of the league. But the way they've been using Chase Brown, and also too, just because you can bet Jamar Chase to have a touchdown every week, and you're probably going to make some money. But the odds at this point are like minus 160 that I'm like, I need something new here. Got to find a new vein in the gold.
You could be the guy who bets 3.1 million to win 500,000.
I was praying
and he's
that
so lucky lost, Xavier Leggett missed that catch.
Dude, that was, of course, like we're all in it to beat Vegas, but like if you're doing that in that game, like, come on, like nothing says douchebag like, and I have too much money than that bet. And they came out, he placed it like early in the week. I think he placed it like last Tuesday. So everybody knew. And like, I was praying that dude was going to lose. Like, and again, I'm a man of the people, but Leggett, dude, what a bummer. What a.
Almost had it.
But it's gambling, baby.
It's how the cookie crumbles.
That's why the Eagles were minus 1,600 or whatever they were, which is just a joke. But yeah, give me Chase Brown to get in, and don't be like that guy and bet $3 million on the Eagles to win $400K. Just don't do it. It's not worth it, I promise.
Well, there you have it. That is the player props for Week 15. Remember, as Willie P said earlier, there will be more picks in the newsletter. So sign up for that. It comes out Thursday morning. And then also remember to follow us, especially if you're an NBA guy, because Willie P's giving NBA bets on our socials, the Predictors _ on Twitter. So follow us there, and always check the predictors.com for up-to-date articles and information and player compares. So if you're looking at who should I play this week in my fantasy game, we do have the player compare pages there. So make sure you're taking a look for all your NFL information. We will see you back here next week for another episode of the Frisky Risky podcast, Christmas edition, because we're going to have some Christmas games, and we're going to talk about them. So we will see you back for that.
Because Netflix is doing it. We all know what happened with the last time Netflix tried to stream something. It was terrible. So hopefully they figured it out. And if I'm opening my stocking and can't watch whatever garbage game is on Christmas Day, I'm going to lose it a little bit.
I'm going to lose it. But you'll hear about them from us next week. So be here, and we will talk about them then. Thanks for listening.